I'd like to take a moment to thank my channel members for your continued support. Thank you, and consider joining today for added perks and exclusive content. Hello and welcome, I'm Bert The Stormtrooper, and today we're going to be taking a look at the ReAction Masters of the Universe He-Man and Battle Cat, and this was a complete surprise for me. I had never seen this before. I went Christmas shopping with my daughter yesterday, and we went to a mall that's away from our area that we don't frequent, and there was an FYE store in it, which I haven't seen an FYE store in ages. I said, we got to go in there. I got to show you this place. These stores are great. So we're in there, we're looking around, and they had some really cool stuff, and I found this one single lonely Battle Cat and He-Man pack sitting there, and I started looking it up online. I couldn't find this figure anywhere online for any less than $80. I picked it up for $35. I had to get it. Absolutely had to get it right away. I didn't know anything about this. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know when this was released. This is made by Super 7. It's from their ReAction line, which I'm really digging their ReAction line. And I tend to, I don't really gravitate too much to the Super 7 ReAction stuff. I think it's really cool. I absolutely love the aesthetic, that simple 3 3/4 inch figure with a 5 points of articulation, very much like the old Star Wars figures of the 70s and 80s. Absolutely love that aesthetic. It checks all the right nostalgia boxes for me, but I always tend to think that they're a little overpriced. So I've been very selective. I've picked up a couple of the Ninja Turtle figures, and that's really kind of it. But when I saw the He-Man and the Battle Cat, and I saw the way that he gets in there, which is very much like the old Star Wars Tauntaun or the Dewback, it works the exact same way with a little flipping panel on the back there. I just had to get this. They just look cool, and you know, for the price, I thought it was a good price for it. So, yeah, here it is in the package. We can see he comes in they come in a window package, so you can see Battle Cat and He-Man right there. My He-Man has his head turned all the way to the side here, but what are you gonna do? Really cool artwork up here at the top. We can see Castle Grayskull, He-Man, riding Battle Cat off into battle right there. Along the side, same artwork right there. Carries He-Man into battle. Then over here, He-Man and Battle Cat from Super 7. And then along the back, we've got we can see Battle Cat and He-Man right here. We can have Skeletor and Panther, which I have already purchased and ordered, and these are on the way because once I got this set, I had to get this set. And then, very cool, there's a checklist here. So if you're collecting all of these figures, you got yourself a little checklist here so you can see which ones you have, which ones you need, that kind of stuff, which is really cool. Also very reminiscent of some of the older Star Wars card backs back in the day where you had the little checklist there. That's really, really cool. Absolutely love this, but I can't wait to get it opened up. So let's do that right now. Let's open this guy up and check it out. And here we have He-Man and Battle Cat out of the package, looking absolutely adorable. A lot of people have a problem with this aesthetic. A lot of people are just used to modern figures, and they just really like the modern look, the more detailed, more realistic looks, and they don't like this. I get that. I completely get it. For somebody like me who grew up in the 70s and 80s with those old Kenner figures, and this was the aesthetic, this is just a nostalgia thing. You know, nobody's saying that this is better than what is available now. This is just a really cool throwback for people like me, and I absolutely dig it. So we've got Battle Cat right here. He's approximately 7 inches long from the tip of the tail to the tip of the nose, about 3.5, 3.25 inches tall at the top of this of his helmet here, just a little taller here at the saddle. And of course, He-Man is about 3 3/4 inches tall. That's the standard size for these figures. So let's start right here with He-Man, and let's take a look at his sword. So he does come with a sword. As you can see, it'll fit right there in his hand. You can just pop it right in. Interesting though, that they did mold the detail for the blade here on this one side, but then when you look on the other, it's just flat. There's not a whole lot of detail there. I don't know why that decision would have been made. I don't know what the molding process is like. I don't know if it would have been just too difficult to do or what, but it just seems like an odd choice. I would have understood if it was flat, because you could maybe join it with Skeletor's sword. But that doesn't seem to be the case, as there are no pegs or ports here. So I don't know. And it's a weird choice that they left it that way. So that's the sword. And then, of course, here we have He-Man right there. So taking a closer look at him, so you can see what he looks like. And yeah, it's a well enough representation of He-Man at this scale and at this style. I think that if we got a Kenner He-Man figure back in the late 70s, I think this is what he would have looked like. So you can see he's got that dirty blonde hair look going on right there. Absolutely love the chrome paint. It's like the shiny silver, almost chrome paint on his armor instead of just the gray. It's like that really shiny silver. Really, really like that. You can see the red cross right there with those red squares going up his shoulders right there, and meeting all the way around the back. There's nothing for the sword to go into, unfortunately. That's a shame. That would have been a cool little... then again, if this was a figure that Kenner made in the 70s, I guess that wouldn't have been there, right? But that would have been... Maybe if they put... You know what would have been a cool idea? Having a little peg on his back and a little port on the sword, so you can just peg his sword into his back. That would have been a cool idea. But anyway, there you go. Gold bracelets right there. And it's pretty cool that they did the half bracelet on the shield arm, just like on the original figure would have had. And then you got gold belt going all the way around. You got his brown little fur shorts right there and brown boots. Yeah, looking really cool. Articulation wise, again, 5 points of articulation, so the neck can move side to side. The arms can go forward and backwards all the way around. And the legs can kick forward and about that far back. And that's it. That's all you're going to get. So when these guys sit, they sit like that. That's about it. So it was interesting because as my daughter was looking at this in the package, she was like, well, how is he supposed... is it just a display piece? Can he not ride Battle Cat? Because you can see from the package that the armor isn't empty out here, and obviously he can't split his legs. So how is he going to ride Battle Cat? And I'm like, aha, that is the feature right there. That is really what made me buy this, is the way that this works, because it is exactly like those old, it really just reminds me of like a Tauntaun or a Dewback from Star Wars. And I explained to her how it works. So if you're not familiar with those, I'm going to show you those in just a moment. It's really, really cool how that works. But first, let's take a closer look at Battle Cat himself. Again, about 7 inches long, about 3.5, 4 inches tall, depending on what part of the armor you are measuring him with. Let's do this. Let's take the armor out. Now that does peg off right there. So the armor is like this soft rubber. Okay, so this is very nice, very pliable, easy to move around, and really, really nicely detailed. So we'll take a closer look at those in just a moment. And here is, I guess this is Cringer now, even though he's that size right there, but that would be your Cringer. And looking really good. Check out the details on him. I absolutely love that. I mean, at first glance, I thought he was going to be a static figure just like the original Battle Cat, and I would not have been surprised if it was. But they actually gave him articulation, which is really cool. But you can see Cringer right here in green with the yellow stripes. Articulation-wise, nothing at the head, so the head doesn't move, the mouth does not open or close or anything like that. But the legs can move forward and backwards. All 4 legs can move forward and backwards, so you can use it to pose them mildly. I mean, the way the legs are molded, there's really only 1, maybe 2 poses that you're going to get out of them. That's really going to be kind of about it. And the tail can rotate, so you can do that. That's really going to be about it. Now, you got this panel up here, and this panel is spring-loaded, and he opens and closes. So when you go to put the figure on Battle Cat, what you're going to do is you're going to literally insert the figure in there. And he just literally stands inside of the figure, which is, again, if you're not familiar with like vintage Star Wars of not vehicles, beasts like the Tauntaun or the Dewback, that's exactly how you would have mounted Luke on the Tauntaun or a Stormtrooper on the Dewback. Would have been to just insert him into the figure like that. And when I saw that that's the way this was designed, that was the deciding factor for me. As soon as I saw that, I'm like, that is vintage nostalgia check. Get it. I have to get it. And again, for the price was right. So there is the armor right there. I mean, it's your standard Battle Cat saddle. Looks really good. And as you saw, it's just a little peg in a slot right there. So we just put this around Cringer. We go around his belly right here, and then we're just going to pop that in there if I can get it. There we go. and stays fairly securely. As you saw, I was messing around with them. It wasn't falling off or flopping off or anything like that. It wasn't until I deliberately pulled on that it came off. So that's good. That's nice. It holds well. Taking a look at the helmet. The helmet, again, looking really, I love the details. It's really nicely detailed, and it looks like the mini comics helmet. It doesn't have the super pointy point nose. I guess you could kind of warm this up and shape it a little bit, but to me, this really calls back to the mini comics, the original mini comics, the way he looked in those. So yeah, really cool. And again, you just pop that right on his head, and it just holds in place. Holds well enough. I mean, there's nothing really securing it in place, so if you shake it around, it's going to fall off. I'm sure if you heat this up and then you mold it, then it'll do a better job of staying in place, but for somebody like me, that's just going to sit on the shelf. So now, the moment of truth. How do we get He-Man on here? I'll pretty much just explained that already, but again, all we're going to do is we're going to take He-Man and we're going to literally insert him into Battle Cat, just like that. And then we just kind of give him a pose, and there you go. That is He-Man riding. My goodness, I cannot speak this morning. Riding Battle Cat right there. There you go. This is really, really cool. Absolutely love that. And I can already hear some of you younger folks that, again, maybe did not grow up with old Star Wars figures and beasts. I can hear some of you now, my God, this is terrible. He's standing inside of the figure. He should have his legs hanging out. I get it. This is just not something that you're used to. Something a little more modern, a little more detailed, a little more realistic. I get it. This is a just kind of like a retro or a vintage or just a nostalgia thing, really, because this is how the toys were when I was a kid, and that's what's so cool about it to me. That's what's so cool about it. So yeah, that's really cool. Let's real quick, just for comparison, in case you're not too familiar with 3 3/4 inch figures, I did also pick up this shredder because, like I mentioned, I did have I have picked up a couple of the turtle figures, so I needed a shredder. So they also had shredder. He was also on sale, so I got him. So there you go. So you can see what these guys look like together. And now, if you're more of a regular to my channel and you're more familiar with what I review, then here he is with Core Class Optimus Prime. So you can see the size difference between the two. Gives you kind of a good idea of how big these are. So there you go. Very, very cool. Absolutely love this. This is just such a fun little find for me. And again, I'm not going to go nuts and completist and get like every ReAction Masters figure now, but I just had to get this set right here, and of course the Skeletor and the Panther. Now that's also on the way because this is just too cool. I just absolutely had to get the two of them. No idea where I'm going to put them, but I'm really glad to have them because this is just such a fun little fiddle toy for me, something fun to have on my desk here. And I think that about does it for the Super 7 or ReAction He-Man and Battle Cat. What do you think of this figure? Let me know down in the comments. Give me some thumbs up, subscribe, and hit that bell icon so you're notified when I upload a new video. I've got a donate button up there, and I also now offer channel memberships. If you're inclined to do either one of those, I greatly appreciate it. Please share with your friends if you like what you see, and I'll talk to you next time.